sis, are you there? I heard something was going on with you, but I'm glad that everything seems to have settled down now. I always knew that you were so nice, but I can't believe that you put yourself through all of that just for me. You really are too kind. Do you know that? Tracy, I really wasn't doing what I did for your sake, you know. I broke off my engagement with my fiancé because I caught you two having an affair with each other. Well, I know, but you were engaged to a CEO. You know that it's always been my dream to marry a rich man, right? I don't even know what to say to something like that. Is that supposed to be an excuse? Well, I've just always wanted to live like a spoiled princess, you know? I really don't know. What in the world does that even mean in this day and age? Besides, where did a dream like this even come from? It isn't like we were horribly poor or fantastically rich growing up. Well, I know, but that doesn't mean that I can't want to marry someone who is really rich, because if I did that, then I would never have to work another day in my life. And now I found that man after all this time. It really is like a real-life Cinderella story, isn't it? I don't remember the scene in Cinderella where one of the ugly sisters steals her prince away. Are you sure we were watching the same movie growing up? Oh, come on. You can't actually be mad at me for taking him for myself, right? Don't you know that all's fair in love and war? You've just got to get over this. You think this is something someone can just get over? This isn't a toy or something that you stole from me this time. We aren't kids anymore. You're right. We're adults, and I think that you're forgetting your place right now. I stole your fiancé from you, and that's a fact. You just need to accept the fact that you've been dumped for the better woman. You think I've been dumped? Please. I wouldn't have taken Jerome back if he came begging for me to take him back. I wonder if you have any idea just how pathetic and desperate you sound. I really don't care what you have to say about this anymore. I am through with the both of you. You really don't get it. You aren't the one calling the shots here. Jerome left you for me. Do you understand that? And it's because you weren't enough for him. He chose me over you because it's clear that I'm the better choice. And that's why we had an affair behind your back, because you couldn't make your fiancé happy and now he's left you. I really don't care how you try and frame it. It is true that Jerome cheated on me and that's why we're not getting married. But do you see me crying and moaning over losing him? Whatever, I just know that you've gotten better at hiding it now. But you've always been a little crybaby ever since we were little. Now who's the one trying to act all tough? We both know that you were the one who would resort to tears right away. You're just trying to project your feelings onto me, but it's not going to work. You think that I'm crying over getting your fiancé? As if. I think it's hilarious. I couldn't be happier about this. You have no idea how long it's been my dream to marry someone like a CEO and never have to work again. It's like my whole life has been leading to this moment. You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you? But whatever, what's done is done. Oh, come on! You can't just be taking it that easy. Can't you send me a message in all caps or shout at me over the phone or something at least? I'm not going to do that, but you should know that Jerome is not a CEO. What in the world are you talking about? Of course he's a CEO. He's the boss of the company that you work for, isn't that right? Actually, we have joint management of the company, if you must know. Hold on a second. What is that supposed to mean? How can you both manage the company? Well, I actually started the company with my startup capital. Jerome just snuck his way up the ranks using connections of his. The company is, however, all mine. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. What in the world are you talking about? I mean that when we first met while working for different companies, I had just established mine, and as it grew, Jerome showed interest in helping out. Then we started to talk about getting married. After I got pregnant, the board insisted that I have a co-manager in case anything happened to me, and they selected Jerome. So then, you two had the same job at the same time, but the company was really yours? But then, I don't get it. Are you telling me that you're also the CEO of a company? I would say I'm more CEO than Jerome. After all, it was my money that began the company. And I'd double check about Jerome still being a CEO since he would have been fired by now. Fired? What do you mean by that? I mean that once the board found out that Jerome was cheating on me, they asked him to step down and began a full investigation into him. It turns out that he was using company money to take you out for meals and on dates. So the board had more than enough evidence to fire Jerome right then and there. In fact, I believe all of this happened last week. Last week? Are you sure? He hasn't told me anything about any of this. Well, you might want to go and try talking to him about some of this in that case. But then, doesn't this mean that Jerome isn't even a CEO and that I won't actually be marrying a really rich guy? That's what you're worried about? I tell you that Jerome was embezzling from the company, something he could go to jail for, and that's all you care about? You're just lucky the board already agreed not to press charges as long as Jerome pays the money back. Of course, we are prepared to press charges if that doesn't happen. But I was supposed to live life like a princess. I thought I had stolen your man away from you with my charm and good looks. But now you're telling me that the man I stole from you doesn't even have a job? Yeah, and I don't imagine he has much in the way of savings, given how lavishly Jerome likes to live. But why didn't you say anything about this to me sooner? You should have warned me about him. Ugh, I never want to talk to you again. Are you really saying that to me? Oh, that message isn't showing up as read. Well, okay then. Have a nice life, sis.
Hey Mabel, are you there? What the heck is the matter with you, huh? Why the heck did you have to go and tell your sister that I wasn't the CEO of our company anymore, huh?
First of all, it isn't our company. It's always been my company. Second of all, don't be upset just because I told my sister the truth. Not only about your job, but also all about how you were fired. After all, it's not like I ever promised that I wouldn't tell her.
You little... Don't you realize what you've done? Now she doesn't want to marry me anymore. You've messed up my whole life with this.
Oh, so you mean you've managed to fumble marrying 2 women now? You've really got to work on that, Jerome.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? But it shows what you know.
And just what is that even supposed to mean, huh?
I mean that I wanted to see how you would react. The truth is that I talked to your sister and smoothed things out. So we're still going to be getting married.
And just what kind of lies did you have to tell her to get her to go along with that?
I told her that the reason I chose to step down from my position as CEO of our company is so that I can do and start my own company. And I've already been preparing for this for a long time. After all, I was the one who took our company to where it is today. I know all about how to raise a successful company from the ground up now.
You're really going to start a company all by yourself?
What? Like it's hard? I'm going to start a company and it's going to grow far beyond what you could ever imagine. I'll dominate the industry and become untouchable.
Well, you might know how to found a company, but that doesn't mean that you're any good as a manager. And I don't think you've ever shown any promise there anyways.
Are you kidding me? You're just jealous because I left you and our company to go start my own with my new woman.
You can't actually think that I'm jealous of either you or my sister, right? You realize how stupid you sound, don't you?
Whatever. You're the one who doesn't know what you're talking about. Tracy and I are going to live happily ever after while your company just crumbles without me. Just stay out of my way and never try to interfere with my life again.
I really don't care what you and my sister choose to do with your lives, but you do realize that you need capital to start a business, right? Do you have that kind of money? Because I know that you still owe me for the legal fees from your affair.
You think a genius like me needs to waste my brain power on small details like that? I have big plans, and when I tell them to the bank, they're going to have to give me my loan. And I'll get the loan and start my company and have everything up and running in 6 months.
6 months, huh? You really think you can handle doing all that in such little time? Well, in that case, I want you to pay me what you owe me right now.
This is why you always used to get on my nerves. The second you saw that I was going anywhere in life, you would always find a way to try and hold me back. Why can't you just be more like your sister and let me do whatever I want without making little comments on it?
If you've got a problem with constructive criticism now, just wait until you're in a boardroom meeting. Besides, you knew that I was like this when we first started dating. Did you really expect me to change?
You know, I never even wanted to be engaged to you, but I knew that it was the only way to hold on to my position and my power. But then I met your sister, and I realized I didn't have to sell my soul to live like this. What your sister and I have is true love, and it's going to give us the success we need.
Well, I really do hate to stomp on your dreams, but let's just hope that it's true love that you two have.
Of course it is! We've tied together and nothing is ever going to come between us.
Well, good luck with that. I just hope that you two can stay together long enough to be married.
You'll see. We'll prove you wrong. We'll prove everyone wrong. And then you'll realize that you should have never underestimated me. Just now that I'm never going to work with your company again. So when I'm dominating the industry, you'll have to struggle just to keep the lights on.
Well, you have to go found your own company and get it off the ground first, so good luck with that. And do hurry up and send me the money that you owe me, okay?
Oh, you'll just have to wait for that. But don't worry. Once I have all my success, I'll be sure to pay you back that money with interest. And then you'll realize that that's only a taste of the wealth I'll have. Then you'll see how wrong you were about me.
Hey there, Mabel. I just thought you should know Jerome and I moved in together. At first, I was worried about all the things you were telling me about him, like how he wasn't a real CEO or how he embezzled from the company. But then he finally started his own company, and now we've moved into an amazing condo, and we're the happiest that we've ever been. It's amazing. You moved into a condo together with Jerome? Because I haven't even heard anything about him creating a new company. Well, I suppose that's probably because Jerome just runs in different circles from you, doesn't he? This is where we're going to move into. He told me that he already paid for the condo and that they're just getting it ready for us. Oh, wait a second. I think I recognize that view. Isn't that Mammoth Towers? You mean even you've heard of this amazing luxury condo building? Yeah, I have, actually. Do you know what room you're going to be living in? And just why would I share that with you? Don't tell me that you're going to try to break in and try to steal Jerome away from me. Because you should know that the building has guards in it and someone like you won't be allowed in. Right. Well, in that case, I guess you shouldn't worry about telling me the room number. Whatever. If you must know, the room number is 2305. So you're on the 23rd floor then? That's right. We're almost at the very top of the building. I've never gotten to stay in a place so nice. We're finally going to have our happily ever after. Well, it's just kind of funny because that's my unit. Wait, what? What in the world are you talking about? Do you really think I'm going to buy a lie like that? You have to come up with something better. I'm not kidding you at all. I own unit number 2305 in Mammoth Towers. Oh, just stop it already. Jerome sent me that photo from his phone. He was inside the unit and everything. There's no way that you own the building that we're about to move into. That doesn't make any sense at all. Well, yes, I'll say the interior does look like it's changed a lot. Although you should know that I got that unit because we bought it from Jerome's parents. But the building was under his dad's name for a while. Well, now you're not making any sense at all. How can it be your unit if it's under Jerome's dad's name? Okay, I guess I'll have to explain the whole thing then. So that building was finished about a year ago. Around then, Jerome's dad thought to invest in the building company, thinking he would see some big returns. He bought a unit hoping to make a quick buck flipping it, but he wasn't able to pay for the whole thing. So then he came to me and asked me to buy it. So then you're telling me that you bought this unit from Jerome's dad who couldn't afford to get one himself? Pretty much, yeah. But now that I look at this photo, I can see that this is from when Jerome's dad still took care of the place. And that's why it's so different from how I have the unit looking now. But this can't be right. I mean, Jerome said that he and I would be moving in there. I already have my bags packed and everything. Well, I don't know what to tell you, except that it's not Jerome's place to choose what to do with it. How could you do this to us? What's the matter with you? I didn't do anything. In fact, you were the one who said that you never wanted to talk to me again. So how is this all coming back onto me? Because we're supposed to go and live in that big condo building. We were supposed to have our happily ever after there. Why do you always have to ruin things for me, Mabel? You're the worst sister ever. Look, I know this is probably a lot for you to take right now, but you can't blame this on me. But it's not just now. You've always stolen everything I wanted from me, even when we were little. I didn't steal anything from you. In fact, you would always take from me. Whenever I tried to get it back, you would instantly start crying to get Mom and Dad on your side. But it's not fair. I want to live in that big condo. It should be all mine. Well, it was never yours nor Jerome's to begin with. A while ago, Jerome's dad needed money right away and offered to sell me the condo for the price he had put into it. I bought it and have been living there for a while. That's how I know that the interior looks different now. I don't know why Jerome thinks you two are moving in, but it's just not going to happen. If anything, I think that this is just one small part of a much larger lie that he's telling you. But this really isn't my problem anymore. Please don't bother me with stuff like this ever again. It turns out that when it was time to move, Jerome ended up taking my sister to go and move in with his parents. Apparently, they were in serious debt, and this was part of the plan to use Jerome and Tracy to pay off their debts. Tracy was messaging me, begging to help get her out of there, but I just read her texts and then blocked her number. She tried living with them for a couple of months, just hoping that this was all part of Jerome's plan to start his own company. Of course, he had never really even begun the process and was lying to Tracy this whole time about his intentions. I heard later from my parents that they ended up bailing out Tracy and rescuing her from her in-laws' house. Now, both my mom and dad are keeping a very close eye on Tracy and making sure she finds a job and learns some responsibility. As for me, life went on as normal. Nothing Jerome or Tracy did really ever had a chance to affect me. I told my parents that I wouldn't be doing anything to support my sister, and they understood and agreed with me. What the heck do you think you're doing at my wedding right now, Francine? A lame little shut-in loser like you has got some serious nerve trying to show her face around here on my special day. Excuse me? What in the world are you talking about right now, Emma? I seriously just can't even believe you right now. I mean, you weren't even invited, and yet you decided to just crash my wedding? What made you think doing something like this was okay? Did you hit your head or something like that? Seriously, what is your deal? Wait, no, hold on a second. I really am confused as to what you're talking about. I mean, the only reason I came here was precisely because I was invited. In fact, I had no idea you were going to be the bride at all. Oh, please, do you expect me to believe that? Of course you knew it was my wedding. The real question is how you knew it was happening here when you weren't even invited. But honestly, if you thought that you were going to get out of this with a lie like that, you've got another thing coming. But I'm telling you that I really was invited here. I got my invitation in the mail and everything. It's just that my invitation was sent by the groom of the wedding, who must be Xavier, the man you're going to marry. Wait a second, you're telling me that my fiancé Xavier invited some weird little nobody like you to our wedding? Why in the world would he want some loser like you here with us? I mean, doesn't he realize that we're so far above you? Xavier had great grades in class, makes a ton of money now, and he might as well be a supermodel. Now, you explain to me what he was thinking inviting a nobody like you here. But I don't really know what else to say. I really did get an invitation to be here. You need to stop all this lying at once. You just found out that this was happening and wanted to sneak your way in, didn't you? You must have known that at my wedding it was only going to be beautiful and successful people allowed in. Which means that you must be here just to try and flirt with men. Wait, what? You can't really think that, right? Of course that's not what's going on. You've got this all wrong. I don't care what you have to say, you are still single, aren't you? And to think that you could have found someone if you just listened to me back then. Back then? Emma, what do you mean by that? Oh, come on, have you really forgotten? You know, high school prom? When they announced prom king and queen, you know what they say about that, right? That the winners always end up getting married to each other. I tried to give you a nice spa day so that you might have even had the slightest chance, remember? Oh, I remember what you're talking about now. If I can be honest, that was one of the worst days of all of high school. For you, maybe. But I guess I didn't do a good job because you're still single. I mean, that's the whole reason why I wanted to help you back then in the first place, but no matter how much I tried, nothing could fix how ugly you really were. And I suppose that's why I ended up being voted as prom queen. Meanwhile, everyone in the audience was laughing at you because of how ridiculous you ended up looking. Well, you remember things very differently from me. I remember not even wanting to go, but you practically forced me to sign up. Then, I remember you saying you were going to give me a makeover and you only finished with minutes to go before the winners were announced. By the time I let you have your way with me, I looked like a clown with all the makeup you put on me. And you used that old urban legend about the prom king and queen getting married to convince me to tell that year's prom king that I had a crush on him. It sounds to me like that's all your fault for letting me manipulate you so much. You really need to take more responsibility for your actions. Besides, think of all the funny memories you have to look back on now. Well, I didn't even have to open my mouth to be rejected by him, but he did it in front of the whole auditorium of people. It was one of the most horrible and saddest days of my entire life. Oh, come on. Surely you've had worse days of your life since then, right? I mean, this is a pretty low point for you, sneaking into a wedding you weren't invited to and all. I feel like you'd have to have sunken quite low to sneak into a wedding to look for a man. You must really, really be desperate. Are you kidding me? You really haven't changed at all since high school, have you? Why change something that's already perfect? But the fact of the matter is that you don't belong here. I never asked for any fat little piggies to be at my wedding, so why don't you run along and go back to your sty, I'm afraid we have a strict no fishing policy, so pack up whatever you thought you were going to use to get men and turn around. You are going to regret this. You can't keep treating people like this and get away with it. Excuse me? Did you seriously just talk back to me right now? How dare you? Don't you remember what happened in high school? There you go again, talking as if high school is the be-all end-all of everything. Up until today, I had moved past all the horrible times I had in high school. Here I thought you might have changed too and we could talk as adults, but I see that you're just as terrible as you've always been. But you're going to learn a harsh lesson about treating people with respect. How dare some ugly little loser talk to me like this? You think I need to sit here and take this from you? I want you out of here right this instant. If you're not gone in 30 seconds, I am going to call the police and have you dragged out of here.
Miss Bellevue, I heard that you went home early? Did something happen? Is everything okay? Is it trouble at work or something like that?
Hello, Xavier. I thought I told you to call me Francine when we're outside of work. But anyways, I have some things I need to attend to, but thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm sorry. I don't understand. Did something happen? Did I do something wrong?
No, it isn't you at all. Anyways, I really should be leaving now. But please stop by my office and show me pictures of the rest of the wedding later.
I'm still really confused, but if it's a personal matter that you don't want to talk about, I respect that.
I really don't know where this company would be if it didn't have a VP like you looking over it. You always know just what to say, you know that?
I appreciate it, boss, but you're the one who's really at the wheel. And I guess I'm just a bit down because I wanted to introduce you to my fiancé. Do you think you could stay for a little bit while longer, please? At the very least, you have to take a bag of goodies that we have for the guests.
Sure that that's okay, even though I'm leaving early?
Of course. I mean, we already prepared enough for all who are going to be here, so there's one for you already. I was actually up all night last night making sure that these were perfect. So all these gifts are done by hand.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I really can't wait to see what's inside then, but if it's something you made by hand, I'll be sure to cherish it. I am just so sorry that I'm having to head out of here so early.
Well, I'm just glad that you were able to attend at all. It really is the thought that counts anyway, you know? But just stay put. I'm going to run out of the changing room really quickly to give you the gift bag in person. I'll be right there, so don't leave yet, okay?
Hey, Emma, you're still a part of the group chat with everyone from high school, right? Well, you might want to go and check out what's going on in there. I put in the chat that you showed up without even being invited, and now all kinds of people are talking bad about you. You mean there are people who still use that chat? I removed myself from that group the day we graduated high school. You know, this is why people always thought that you were some kind of awkward little nerd, you know that? It's no wonder you hardly had any friends at all throughout high school. You can only blame yourself for that, though. Well, I see that you really haven't invited anyone at all from our high school days to your wedding, so it's not just a me problem, is it? Oh, come on. You know that all the other people we used to hang out with just ended up getting lame normal jobs. They're all just average. You really think I want my wedding being stuffed up with the stench of mediocrity? No, I'm sorry, but this wedding has a little thing called standards. So no, they weren't getting an invitation either. So you really didn't invite anyone from back then at all, and you still are sending them messages? You do realize just how successful and handsome and amazing my husband is, right? Did you know that he's also starting his own business, too? He's literally the perfect man, and if I invited anyone from high school, they would just spend the whole wedding crying out of jealousy. Either that, or they'd all think like you and just come here looking for men to flirt with. So, that's why I didn't invite anyone from back then. And to think that it would have been the perfect chance for you to brag to all of us about your wedding in person. Then again, I guess you really don't care as long as you're looking down on others. You really just don't get how things work, do you? But then what else can I really expect from such a sad little loser like you? I'm not looking down on you. I just happen to know where I am relative to you. That's all. You really are a piece of work. Do you know that, Emma? I don't care what you have to say to me, because the fact of the matter is that I'm going to marry Xavier, and that's that. I'm going to be the successful entrepreneur, and you're getting nothing. My boyfriend can do anything and is going to be the top of his company. No one is ever going to be able to look down on him, and by extension, me. You say that, but do you even know what it is that your husband does for a living? It sounds to me like you don't even really care as long as it makes you enough money to give you the life that you want. Well, no duh. Why would I need to know anything more about what he does than how much money he makes? After all, my only job is to stand there and look pretty for him. It really doesn't matter to me one bit how he makes his money. I just have to be there and cheer him on in order to earn my keep. I guess maybe this is all a bit too much for you to wrap your head around, though. You really just don't know when to quit, do you, Emma? I just mean that if you could have found a man by now, you would have, don't you think? Instead, you have to come here desperately looking for someone to have you. It really is sad when you think about it, but the fact is that you're never going to have a family of your own. You're going to be lonely for the rest of your life.
And just what makes you say that about my boss, huh?
Wait, what? What do you mean? Who is your boss?
I mean that you're saying all these horrible things about my boss and my friend. But I guess I might have just let myself be taken in with your charms, and that's how I agreed to marry you. You must be quite good at getting close to people by making them think you're someone who you really aren't. But now I know exactly how you feel about me in this marriage.
Wait a second, I am still so confused right now. Who am I talking to? This couldn't be... It's not Xavier, is it?
Of course it is. And I heard from Francine that she was leaving our wedding early to go and take care of some business. I went out to go and give her one of the gift bags I made before she left, and that's when she told me what really happened. How could you try and do this to my boss?
Hold on a second. You mean to tell me that Francine is actually your boss, and she's the friend you started your company with?
You have it backwards there. Francine started the company and invited me on board to work as VP.
Wait, what? You mean that you two knew each other even before working together? But I didn't even know that you started your company with a girl. I thought it was a guy friend.
And just why would that matter at all in the first place? I came to work with Francine because I know she has a great mind for business. I'm just shocked to hear all of these horrible things that you've been saying about her, though.
There's been some kind of mistake here, really. I had no idea that she was your boss or anything like that. I didn't even know that you two were friends before this. I mean, what in the world is someone like you doing being friends with her?
Oh, give me a break. You know that Francine and I are friends. I told you that I was going to be inviting her to our wedding. Don't you know how much she's done for me? Not just professionally, but in my personal life too?
Hold on a sec, I still don't even get how you two met in the first place.
Don't you remember in high school, when I won prom king? I think I had girls coming up to me multiple times a week begging me to go out with them. I know that people think I'm really handsome, and that must be great for me, but it's not that simple. It comes with a lot of pain too.
What do you mean? How could it be hard to be handsome?
So many people come up to you just to say they like you when you don't even know who these people are. Not just that, but to have to turn down so many people who wanted to go on a date with me. Don't you know how much that makes me feel guilty? And then, when I wouldn't find a girlfriend, people started accusing me of sleeping around with people since I was still single. It's just so many people assuming so much about my life when they don't even know me.
But, I mean, at least you're not ugly. That's a good thing. Surely you can see how being handsome is so much better, right? And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be getting married to a gorgeous woman like me.
You and every other gorgeous girl I've been with seem to have the same mindset. And anytime I've brought up these struggles to them, they always tell me to be thankful for what I have. All that tells me, though, is that I still haven't met someone who actually listens to what I have to say.
Hold on, I didn't know that this was such a big deal for you.
I was scared to love for so long because I was worried that people were falling in love with the idea of me, and not me for who I really am. It took me so long to want to be married, and so much of the credit for that goes to Emma, who was always there to talk to me and never asked anything from me in return. That's what a real friend does. She helped me remember what it means to trust people.
You don't really mean that, do you?
Of course! She's always giving me great advice, and even after high school helped me step into myself. We also realized we had similar ambitions, and so when she started her company, she said it was a matter of course that I would be her VP pick.
But, I mean, I had no idea that someone like her would be your boss.
Well, you better start believing in it. Francine has easily put in the bulk of work to get us where we are. She's the brains behind the whole operations, and as the VP, she taught me how to use people's assumptions about me to my advantage.
I don't even know what to say to any of this right now.
Well, I'm not there yet. Francine told me all about what you put her through in high school, how horribly mean you were to her. I really had no idea at all that I was about to marry the person who traumatized Francine throughout high school. Well, I'm sorry, but I just can't marry a woman like you now that I know who you really are. Francine came here as my guest, and you've been nothing but disrespectful to her, and by extension, me. I want to call the whole wedding off with you.
You don't really mean that, right? I mean, the ceremony's going to start in a matter of hours. Please, let's just calm down and talk about this, okay?
There's nothing more to talk about, and I am perfectly calm. Anyways, I'm going to go break the news to everyone right now that the wedding is canceled. I don't know what you're going to do next, and frankly, I don't really care. Have a nice life, Emma.
In the end, Xavier managed to stop the wedding before things went too far and he and Emma ended up married. It was a huge shock for all of the guests, but Xavier had explained the situation to both sets of parents and they agreed to spread the news and explain things to the rest of the guests. Soon, however, everyone at the wedding venue knew what Emma had done and said to me. By then, however, Emma had run away from the wedding venue to avoid the humiliation of what was about to happen. She managed to talk her parents into letting her move back in with them, but they both gave her a stern talking to and expressed how disappointed they were with her. And since Emma had put all of her baskets into marrying Xavier, she was really left with few alternatives. She'd quit her job and already ended her apartment lease since she was planning on moving in with her then-fiancé. Left with nothing and no one, Emma had to quickly take the first jobs that she could find in order to pay the rent to her parents, who told her they were not going to be letting her freeload off of them after her behavior at the wedding. I just hope that working a few service industry jobs really humbles Emma and helps her understand why it's wrong to look down at people. As for Xavier and I, things more or less went back to business as usual for us, as we continued on trying to build up our company. We have some interviews for the news and some magazines coming up, and I've asked Xavier if he could use his charms to help sell our company to the public. It took a long time, but I'm glad that Xavier is now comfortable enough with himself to make use of his own looks on his terms. Of course, he was very sad that his wedding didn't come to be, but he said that he was much more relieved that the two of them didn't end up married before he found out. We're still close friends, and Xavier knows that I'm there for him. But business stops for no one, and time is money. But just because the work doesn't stop, it doesn't mean I have to ignore my friend when he's hurting. Xavier may have lost his wedding, but our friendship is stronger than ever.
Hey, Tina, you there? You need to get home from the office right now. I'm about to go to a wedding, so hurry up.
Hold on a second, you're going to a wedding?
Yeah, I totally had no clue that Valerie was getting married today. But I just got a call from my parents and they were super pissed and asking where I was. They were asking why weren't we there at the wedding already.
But wait, I don't get it. I thought that Valerie's wedding was next month. I mean, that's what was written on the invitation we got at least.
I know. At least that's what I thought the invitation said anyways, but guess it was today this whole time. Anyways, just hurry back here so that I can drive us to the wedding venue. How soon do you think you can get back here?
I don't know. I have to ask my boss about this first, and then I'll be home as soon as I can. I think on the bus, though, it'll probably take me a whole hour before I can be back.
An hour. Got it. I got our clothes and everything ready here, so just please try and get back home as fast as you can.
I can't believe that my brother and his wife are really going to miss my wedding. It's just such a shame, really. I suppose we just didn't realize how little you two care about us. Oh, quit the act, Valerie. I don't know why you did it, but the invitation you sent us had the date as a month from now. But now we find out that you're actually getting married today? Why didn't you tell us sooner? I have to leave work early. Well, you should know that it wasn't any kind of accident. I gave the two of you the wrong date on purpose. Excuse me? Why would you do that? What's your problem? I'm just so glad that you passed along the wrong date to my brother so that he didn't go and ask my parents. You made it so easy for me. And now, without you two here, I feel like I can finally have the wedding I've always wanted. You're still not making any sense. Why did you tell Dean and I the wrong date? Why don't you want us there? Isn't it obvious? It's because I hate the two of you. You're always trying to act so young, but you're really not. What does that even mean? I don't get it. It doesn't matter. The real point is that today is all about me, and if I don't want people I hate to be at my wedding, then that should be fine. But I literally don't get what you mean about me not acting my age. I think I act pretty normal. Are you kidding me? Did you really just say that? You're in your 30s and you're still dressing like you just turned 20. You really think that you're fooling anyone at all with your young woman routine? You think you can still get away with wearing skirts? Sorry you didn't want to invite me to your wedding because I still wear skirts. Is that really what makes you think that I tried and act younger than I am? Well, duh. You think that an old hag like you should really be wearing things like that? Obviously, only women in their 20s should be wearing skirts. But I wish they could make it a law so that we could deal with rule breakers like you. I don't even think that's a rule for anyone. I think you just made that up. You really are just so cringy. Do you realize that? I mean, honestly, why would you even try wearing a skirt? But the worst part was when my future in-laws came over and you were in a skirt. They both said that you looked nice in it. But obviously I would look much nicer than you in a skirt. I really don't even know what to say to that. I just want to know why they gave you a compliment and not me. Why did they even bother coming over to my family's house if they weren't going to compliment me? Instead, they gave an old woman like you more compliments. Look, Valerie, I know that you and I don't really have a good history of getting along, but I think that you're taking things just a little too far with this, don't you? I don't think that I'm taking it nearly far enough. I'm only starting to get all this off my chest, but to be honest, I just can't stand you. You're always having so much fun talking to Josh's mom, but you're always leaving me out. You never invite me anywhere or even try to make conversation. Are you talking about the time I was helping Josh's mom in the kitchen? You know that she was getting ready to serve a bunch of guests, right? I was only helping her, but I can ask if you'd like to give a hand next time as well. I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen doing chores with you. I hate cooking. How do you not know this about me after all this time? Just because it's what you do to kiss up doesn't mean that I like it. And I hate that even though you can cook, you still have to pretend like you're younger than you really are. I hate it all. Well, Valerie, I really just don't know what to say to you then. You don't need to say anything. I'm just letting you know why neither of you are invited to my wedding. You can both just sit at home and wait for us to get back. And don't bother trying to get in. I'll have security throw you out the moment you step foot inside the venue. Dean, I am really so sorry about this, but I think that we weren't invited to the wedding because of me. I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with this because of me, though.
What do you mean? How was any of this your fault?
Well, I was talking to your brother's fiancé just now, and I think she really does hate me. She was talking about how she was upset because she thinks your mom likes me more than her. She was calling me names to make fun of my age, and she said she gave us the wrong date on purpose.
You kidding me? What's that problem?
Again, I really am so sorry about this. I never wanted you to get caught up in any of this.
Come on, you know that you shouldn't be apologizing for this. Besides, Val hates me too.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that when after my parents called me, I got a message from my younger brother Josh, and he was saying that since we're gonna miss it, he's finally gonna be the favorite son. I think you and I was set up.
You don't mean that, do you? Do you really think Josh would do this?
He's always had it out for me, if I'm being honest. He was always doted on as the youngest child by your parents, and he was so spoiled that our parents didn't even care when his grades started to slip. Then he didn't even go to college and still lives at home. I guess he's always been envious of me for working hard, going to a good school, and finding a job with a big company. I think this was his way of trying to get back at me for that. So it seems like this might have happened no matter what.
But that's awful. I know the three of you have your history, but to do something like this?
I know, but if they don't want us there, then let's just miss the wedding. Why bother going there when we're gonna be hated?
Yeah, I guess you're probably right about that. Seems like we don't have any other choice. Although I guess we should probably explain a bit about what happened to your parents later. Wow, I can't believe that you two actually didn't come to the wedding. You do know how pissed my parents are, right? You realize how bad it looks that Dean, the oldest son of the family, wasn't there for a big event like this, don't you? Well, if that's how people chose to read the situation, there's nothing we can do about it. But don't worry, we hope to clear this all up by explaining the truth to Dean's family. What good do you think that's going to do? You should know that we were talking to my parents and they said they'll let us move in with them. I know they've already asked you and Dean so many times, but that you've always turned them down. They were so happy when we said yes that Josh's mom actually cried. So now that we're taking over the duties to take care of them, there's not even a point to having Dean around. So then you're really going to go and move in with Josh's parents? Of course, I've already talked it over with Josh. He figured that after how expensive the wedding was and how much money our honeymoon is going to cost, this is a good way to save money for now. And since we're going to live with his parents, I'll finally get to prove that I'm the better wife than you. So then, you're doing this all just to try and impress your new in-laws? Is that it? I just refuse to lose to an ugly old hag like you. I'm the younger, prettier wife, and I'll prove to my in-laws that I am more capable too. I really have no idea where this urge to compete with me even came from. I don't care what you think. Now that we've done this, it means that Josh's parents are going to provide for us forever. It all works out though, since Josh hates his own brother so much. I can't believe that you two would actually conspire to do something like this. But fine, if you two really hate us that much, then we get it. Maybe we should just not talk to each other anymore. That sounds perfect. We'd love to cut you both out of our lives, after you give us a wedding present, that is. Although since we've agreed that I don't have to see you again, you can just mail a check. Sound good? You're kidding me, right? You don't invite us to your wedding, tell us that you never want to see us again, and still expect a gift? Think of it as a fee to finally get rid of us forever. I think something like $5,000 should cover it. You want Dean and I to give you $5,000? You think that you can buy Josh and I off for cheap? Sure, we want to get rid of you two as well, but you still gotta pay. Besides, this is our wedding gift. Are you really too cheap to afford a measly $5,000? I can't even deal with you right now. I'm going to quit responding to these messages. Well, good riddance then, and tell Dean that he isn't allowed to talk to us either. Oh, that's just fine. Dean says good luck to you both. Especially you. He says he doubts you'll last a year living with his parents. Excuse me? What is that supposed to mean? You really have no idea what you've agreed to, do you? Anyways, have a nice life. Wait a second, you can't just say something creepy like that and then just run off. I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk, but I'm ready to put in some hard work to do this. Oh, you really don't even know the half of it, but I'll tell Dean about the $5,000. What the heck kind of house is this? We just got back from our honeymoon and it's already a disaster. Every day from sunup to sundown, Josh's mom is always nagging me to do some chore, correct some mistake I did doing another chore. Well, I wished you good luck, didn't I? But yeah, their mom is pretty traditional when it comes to living with a daughter-in-law. Traditional is one thing, but this is just too far. And I don't get it. I thought you and Hillary got along. I thought we would have gotten along if I moved in too, but she's always nagging me. Oh, I'm sure it looked like we did get along to someone watching us talk. But the fact of the matter is that I know exactly what you're going through. I hate having to go over to their house for events. What do you mean? I had no idea you felt that way. Of course, I'm always stuck inside the kitchen helping Hillary make this and that. And she never utters a word of thanks. She just takes it for granted that I'm supposed to be there helping her. You're kidding me. I didn't know any of that. In fact, I was always jealous of you. You just got to sit on the couch while we were in the kitchen. You never had to do anything. So when you said that you were going to be moving in with them, you have no idea how happy I was. Especially since now we won't have to keep sending them money every month. You were sending their parents money every month? That's right. We were sending them about $1,000 a month, basically. But then we got a call from Hillary and she told us about you two moving in. She said that she wouldn't need our money anymore and that we could stop sending it. So thanks for that too. So then, you were sending them $1,000 a month, but now you're not going to? Maybe you could give us that money instead since Josh and I are moving in. Yeah, we could do that, especially since they're probably expecting you and Josh to cover all of their bills. Excuse me? Cover their bills? Are you serious? Well, of course. Surely you've heard about why Dean and Josh didn't get along, right? Josh was always his parents' favorite and was spoiled with whatever he wanted. Dean, on the other hand, had to work really hard. But his efforts sent him to a good school and eventually landed him into a great job. Josh never liked how successful his older brother was, and so that's where the bad blood came from. Yes, of course I know about all of that, but I thought that it was Dean who was always looking down on Josh because he thought he was better. Ah, is that how Josh tells it? It is true that Dean makes a ton of money, and that is why his parents asked him to help. Of course, Josh was also the beneficiary of that since he was living with his parents. I suppose he probably didn't even know of the help his brother was giving, but now that you're both living there, you're going to find out. So thank you so much for making it so easy to finally cut ourselves off from Dean's family. But, I mean, this isn't what I had in mind when I agreed to move in. I know, isn't life funny like that sometimes? Anyways, I'm sure if you work hard, you'll worm your way into Hillary's heart. But, like I said, good luck with everything. Well, I just finished having a little chat with Valerie. I think she finally understands what she's gotten herself into. Of course, she wasn't happy to hear about it in the least.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to Josh right now about it too. When he heard about the money we've been sending, he was so upset about it.
Yeah, I guess neither of them had any idea at all that we'd been doing that. But I guess they found out since telling your parents they were going to be moving in. Although I can see us getting sucked into even more drama, so what do you think about moving away, Dean?
Tino, I was just gonna ask you the same thing. I think this is the perfect chance to go to a new city, get new numbers, and start over. Then they can't ever find us and try asking for money again.
Perfect. I'm so happy we're on the same page with this. I guess I should probably go and find a real estate agent so we can start getting everything ready.
Great. And we can find some places to look at this weekend. This is gonna be great.
I can't take it anymore. I'm seriously at my limit. What kind of life is this? All I want to do is move out. Ah, shoot. Dean and I were so caught up in the move, we forgot to change our phone numbers. Move? What are you talking about? Did you and Dean move somewhere? That's right. We moved so we'd never be sucked into Dean's family drama again. And now that we have moved, we are never going to tell you to where. But that isn't fair. I want out of this life. Let me come and live with you guys. Josh and I can take your house and you can come and live with his parents. Yeah, that sounds like an awful deal, actually. Besides, I thought I made it clear we didn't want to live with his parents. We don't even want to have to deal with them, or you and Josh at all, for that matter. Dean's parents always made Josh their favorite, and that meant while Dean had to claw his way to where he is now. It was only after they realized Dean was making money that his parents asked for some. But you have no idea how expensive it is for all four of us. $1,000 extra a month could go a long way. Please, can't you help us out? Please, Hillary steals money out of my wallet instead of asking. She's always making me cook, even though she knows I'm bad at it. And she's always putting me down in front of Josh. Valerie, you can do this. I believe in you. I know it's tough, but at least at the end of it all, you'll be able to say that you know how to make a souffle and dust a house properly. Isn't that wonderful? Please, I don't want to have to do any of that. You have to come and rescue me. You have to get me out of here. I am begging you. Rescue you from what? You did this. You were the one who agreed to go and live with your husband's parents. Not only that, but you agreed to do so as a means to try and undercut Dean's as well as my own place in the family. You realize that, right? We don't owe you any kind of help, and you aren't going to be getting it. Anyways, it sounds to me like you have a lot of studying ahead of you, so good luck with that. After that, Dean and I went to the cell phone store and changed out our numbers so that Dean's family and Valerie could never, ever find us again. And after that, we didn't ever hear from them again. Though Dean would still hear from his dad through the family gossip pipeline and could tell that things weren't going too well at home. Apparently, Josh was not as reliable as Dean was for taking care of his parents, according to his parents. According to Dean, he heard that Josh had to finally go and try to find a real job, but could only find something that didn't pay very well. Apparently, even Dean's dad had to go back to part-time work to help contribute to the budget. As for Dean and I, we've been thoroughly enjoying our new life and fresh start. I haven't been anxious about needing to help my mother-in-law host an event, and Dean isn't constantly stressing about making sure he'll make enough to support his parents, too. Hey there, Pam. I just heard the news from Tony. Are you really going to completely renovate the second story at your family home? Tony heard about it from your mom, and he was telling me about how amazing the whole space was going to look after everything was finished. Yeah, we decided to knock down some of the walls and create a much more open feeling for the area. It should be nice. Then we were going to make some changes to the bathroom and even try and build a mini kitchen up there to make living up there easier. Wow, so you're basically going to have 2 homes inside one building pretty much. Well, we're doing a lot of thinking about how we could make improvements to the house since my parents and I live here with his parents. But yeah, we decided basically to try and create 2 units inside of the one house. That's amazing. I bet that it's going to turn out just super. And I just know that the second floor is going to get some amazing natural light, especially if you're going for an open floor plan. And with some plumbing going on up there as well, it's just going to be the perfect living space. Wow, I would say that you're much more excited about the renovations than some of us here at home are. But it is really fun, I will say. We're going to go to the hardware store and think about paints for the walls. Oh, I bet it's fun. I used to love making my own house on computer games when I was younger. It's so nice just getting to make a space all your own. And just make sure you don't get too carried away and go for some crazy design you'll regret later. I mean, especially since you're just the daughter-in-law living there, you wouldn't want to ruin the house for your in-laws, right? So just make sure you're not running off with your own design ideas and not listening to anyone else's opinion on the matter. Sorry, I don't think I'm quite following you there. What do you mean by that? Well, you're going to be destroying my room in that house, right? You do realize that I grew up in the house, too. I'm sure that my parents have a lot of important memories in the second floor, and I just hope you're being sensitive to their wishes with this. Ah, okay, I think I understand. Well, if you're wondering if I've asked them if it's okay to go ahead with this, they've said yes. I see. But I bet that you're going to put all this money into renovating the second floor and then just keep it all to yourself, aren't you? I hope that you're at least spreading some of the love to my parents, too. I'm sorry, but I still really am not sure what you're talking about with that. Okay, well, you said that you were going to have running water and plumbing installed on the second floor, right? Well, I just hope that that isn't going to affect the first floor in any way. I'm really not sure at all what you're asking. We're working with a team of professionals who aren't going to let one half of the house go without water. Besides, the pipes on the first floor were all replaced about 5 years ago, so there shouldn't be any issues. It was when your mom was making some changes to the kitchen at the house back then. And you really think that the pipes haven't gone at all bad in the last 5 years? That means they've been there since before the last Olympic Games. Is that a metric that plumbers use when considering the age of pipes? I'm just saying that I hope you remember to renovate the whole house and not just the second floor. I'm sick of coming over and looking at all the old appliances on the first floor, so make sure you're changing everything. I really don't think that there's any real practical need to do any of that at all, really. Oh, and if you're going to renovate the first floor kitchen, then you might as well buy all new table and chairs as well. Just make sure that whatever you do for one area, you do for the other. And you have to remember that my parents are getting old, so make sure you do something to open up the first floor plan as well, got it? Okay, no, hold on just a second. None of that is going to be happening at all. We have a budget and a plan for what we're going to make changes to. If we add on the whole first floor, then that's basically building a new house from scratch. I appreciate your suggestions, but the renovations are going to be between my husband and I and your parents, okay? Are you really sure about that? You know that I'm only mentioning all of this because I want you to care about my parents, right? Are you really saying you don't care about them enough to do this? It has nothing to do at all with any of that. Why would you even say that? Well, it's just that my parents are going to be retiring soon, so they're only going to have their pensions to live off of. I figured the least you could do as their daughter-in-law is help fix up their house. I mean, after all, they're being kind enough to let you and my brother live there with them, right? Bianca, I know what you're trying to do, but I've already told you that we've established a plan and a budget, and we're sticking to both. Well, it sounds to me like you're going to need a new budget and a new plan, so hop to it. If you fix up the whole house, it'd be cheaper than doing things one at a time as you need them. And I don't want to hear any excuses about money. It's not like either of you even pay rent there. I know you're both loaded. Hey, Adam, are you there? I think we might need to pause all the construction and go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board? Pam, why in the world would you want to do that? We just picked out the colors that we're gonna paint the walls.
I know, but I was just talking to your sister, Bianca. I told her about how we were fixing up the second floor of the house, and she told me that we needed to think more about your parents.
Just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, she basically said that anything we were doing for the second floor, we should also do for the first floor as a gift to your mom and dad.
But if we were to redo the entire first and second floor, then we might as well just be building a whole new house. Besides, we already figured out the budget for this and everything.
That's what I tried to tell her, but she insisted that we were doing it all wrong. She said that our budget was too small and didn't take into consideration your parents.
I don't know what she means by that, because our parents already agreed to let us do what we're doing. But I think I might know what's going on here. I think that my parents are trying to use Bianca to get to us.
Get to us? What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
I never actually mentioned any of this to you, because I didn't think it'd really come up, but my dad has really started complaining about the house a lot. He's gone off on me about how cold he thinks the toilet is, how bad the insulation is in the house, and has a comment for every little thing around here.
Oh, really? I had no idea about any of that at all.
Well, it's true. And I do my best to try and listen to what he has to say, but I think he thought it might be more effective to get Bianca on his side.
And that's why you think she was telling us to totally renovate the first floor as well? But does this mean that we'll have to renegotiate this whole thing with your parents then? Besides, it's not like your dad doesn't have money. If he wants to change things, he has the means to do it.
I know they have money, but they certainly don't even have enough for the kind of changes that my dad would like to see around here. Well, I'm sure he would love it if we paid for someone to fix up the first floor.
But then what are we going to do about all of this?
Well, I don't know what we can do. My parents are already swimming in debt. They have some from when they got the pipes replaced and when my dad bought his last car, too.
I didn't realize that they still hadn't paid those off yet, though.
Yeah, they may have had some savings once, but not anymore. I think this is partially why my dad hasn't come to us directly about this, though. I think he was probably hoping that we'd come to him offering to do all the renovations that he'd want to see.
But what are we going to do? We've already laid so much groundwork for this.
Well, I don't really know what we can do now. If this is really happening, then we really may as well just go and construct a whole new house.
Adam, you can't really be serious about that, can you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I also know that Bianca has interests in this as well. She's always complaining about coming back and visiting the house since it's out in the country. And since she knows the house is going to go to one of us, she'd probably love it if you and I paid to make it all brand new in the chance that she gets it.
Well, I guess that all makes some sense. But even so, we just don't have the budget to make those sorts of changes.
Yeah, we do. I'll pay it all. I agreed to take responsibility for the project when we started, and I'm not going to go back on my word now.
Adam, you're really going to pay to have the entire house renovated?
That's right. I don't want you to get any more wrapped up in this nonsense than you already are, so just please let me handle this. Of course, if it's okay with you, I'd still like to be able to ask your opinion on interior design questions. You know that I don't know what I'm doing on that front. Just try and think of a first floor that Bianca would also enjoy.
Got it. Well, I promise you to do what I can. I'll try and make the best house that we can.
Thank you so much, Pam. I knew that I could count on you. I'll call the construction crew soon and talk to him about this.
Oh my gosh, this place looks amazing! This feels like a brand new house. You really went all out with this. I mean, this place looks better than I ever could have imagined it looking. Wait, Bianca, are you in the house right now? Yes. I thought I would pay a little visit to see how things are going. I heard the news from my mom and that the construction is finally complete. Well, yes, the workers did say that they were all done yesterday. Well, it seems to me like you really put some serious work into putting this all together, didn't you? I mean, the design is just so, well, like I said, it's amazing. You really do have a keen eye for this kind of stuff, I'll say that much. Oh, well, I'm very happy that you're so pleased with it. I really did try hard to come up with a nice design. Well, I think you did amazing. I mean, just being here makes me want to move in. Or rather, seeing this is part of why we're moving in. From here on out, we're going to be living here. Wait, what do you mean by that? I don't quite understand. Well, we already brought all our bags here, so my husband and I were going to move into the second floor. But hold on a second. The second floor was renovated so that Adam and I could live up there. There isn't really a spare room in the house where you and your husband could even stay here. And since when were you two thinking of moving in with all of us over here? And just what is so wrong about the daughter of a family coming back to her home to live with her parents, huh? It was fun living away in the city, but it's tough out there. Well, I get wanting a new start, but you can't just announce this all of a sudden. I mean, your parents and I had a lot of agreements that went into these designs. And one of the conditions that we all agreed to when doing this was that you wouldn't be coming back to live here. And just why am I not supposed to be allowed to come back and live with my family? My parents own the house, so if I want to come and live with them again, then I think I have more of a right to make that choice than you. You should be glad to be living with someone like me. Are you serious right now? Do you really think that you can just barge in here and announce that this place is yours? It's always been mine. Besides, we've already brought all our bags and belongings, so it's a bit late to do anything about this now. I don't even know what to say to that. Why would you pack all your things up and bring them here? I told you, it's because I wanted to come back and live with my parents again. I know that they must be getting sick of living with you and Adam. And now that I'm wanting to move back, there's really no need for either of you to even be here in the first place. I'm sure they'll be overjoyed to have me back. Bianca, I really don't know how else to say this to you, but that is not how things are going to work. Adam told me when we got married that we would be living with my parents, but that he would make sure that I never had to suffer because of it. So I really don't think that he's going to agree to just pack up our things and leave after fixing up the home like this. And just who do you think you are to talk to me about my brother? I know him much better than you, and I know how to make him go along with what I want. Besides, don't you know that I'm the elder sibling? He has to obey me because what I say goes. I don't even get why you'd want to move here with your parents. Can you go and live with your husband's parents instead? You can't just show up here and declare that you're kicking Adam and I out of our living space. Well, it kind of sounds to me like I just did, didn't I? And you have no right at all to be disagreeing with me. I've had to put up with Adam since he was little, and now I'm finally going to be taking what is rightfully mine. I'm trying to tell you that it's not going to work that way. You can't just show up and announce that you're living here. Besides, you never ever wanted to come here and live before Adam and I put all the money into the house, so what changed? Can you please just shut up and move out already? How many questions are you going to ask me? Why can't you understand that you've lost and now you've got to leave? You know what? Fine. If this is how you want it, then so be it. Finally! I thought I would never get rid of you. I was worried I'd have to get my mom involved, but I'm happy now that you're just giving it all up. I'm sure my parents and my husband and I will all enjoy living for free in the house that you spent the last several months renovating. Oh, don't you worry about us. After all, it's your parents who are paying for everything. Anyways, I've got to go. Wait! What do you mean that it's my parents who are going to be paying for all of this? I'm sorry, but I've got to get a hold of your brother and the real estate agent. I'll also have to extend the lease on the place we were staying in during the construction. No, wait! I'm trying to ask you a question here. What do you mean about my parents having to pay? I thought that you two paid for everything. Well, yes, we were going to pay for everything that we'd done. Then Adam agreed that he'd pay for it all instead. The loan for the construction and everything was, however, taken out in your dad's name. Why in the world would my dad agree to do something like that? Well, at first we were just going to pay for the whole project in one lump payment. But when it expanded to the first floor, we knew we'd need to take out a loan. So your parents and Adam and I went to the bank, and the bank suggested bundling the loan into the rest of your dad's debt. What do you mean, my dad's debt? I didn't know that my dad had any debt. Well, yes, he does. He has it from when he did his own renovations 5 years ago and when he bought his new car. But he still has debt from doing all of that? That's right. But the banker said that it would be more economic to bundle the home loan in with the rest of his debts in a kind of refinancing plan. And so your dad agreed to it, thinking that it would be Adam who gave him the money to pay back the debt. But I don't understand. Why would he do something like this? Well, that's the thing. Your dad still wasn't keeping up with his own debts, so in the end, Adam agreed to take on all the debt as it became too much for your father. I tried explaining some of the risks that this could come with to your dad, but he wasn't really listening at all. But then, if you two are in charge of the payments and you two just stop paying, then what's going to happen to all that stuff like the car and the house? I imagine you all are about to find out soon enough, actually. After that, I heard from my husband that Bianca reached out to him and was furious about what was happening. I told him I expected that much to happen after all this. Apparently, the bank had sent a notice to the house explaining that if the payments were not continued, they would be seizing the house and the car. Adam's parents only slowly realizing the consequences of their earlier actions. Adam was already upset at them for acting as if they had no idea about any of this. Bianca, however, was even more upset and raged on about how it was unfair that Adam and I were the only ones left unscathed from all of this.
Adam agreed to re-sign over the rights to the house and car so that Bianca and his parents could continue their repayments on the loans. But it was only in exchange for the money that Adam and I had already invested in both of those. With little other choice but to agree, Adam's parents, along with Bianca and her husband, are all living together and working hard to come up with the money to pay off these loans. Adam's lawyer said that it wasn't impossible, but that it would take about 30 years for the four of them to do it all. By then, Adam's parents would be in their 90s. Adam and I were sad about how things had to turn out with his parents and sister, but we blocked them on any kind of social media and used the money we got from them to move to a different city where we wouldn't have to deal with them. We found a decent plot of land with a nice starter home on it and began yet another round of renovations. This time, however, we were only following our own blueprints and nobody else's. It may have taken a long time, but I'm excited to finally have my dream house with the man I love. We've more or less lost all contact with the rest of Adam's direct family, but we'll still hear rumors about them coming from distant relatives and the like. Apparently, the four of them decided to sell Adam's dad's new car for a much older model that they could actually afford. They were doing all they could to cut back on costs and escape their debt. I only hope that this experience can at least teach Bianca and her husband a lesson about having respect for others' hard work and not acting so entitled without the authority to back it up. In the meantime, however, Adam and I will still be working on making our dream house a reality as we work hard to follow our plans and stay within budget.